On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. We've got a lot of Epstein news out, and it's, I think, for a good reason. Trying to start a narrative, control a narrative, get in front of a narrative. I think there's a lot of things that are happening. I think Trump's doing some brilliant maneuvers. We've also got news around Texas, Washington, D.C., and a number of other things. We're going to get right into it because I do have a packed show, like always. Wanted to start with this very good person, S. Jones 39. She's got a great channel on Rumble. She does old farts. She does music. She does Bible stuff. Does a whole bunch of great stuff. She's also with my good friend Nana's Little Corner, and they do Two Old Farts. So again, thank you, S. Jones 39. You were awesome to give this to me. This was a super big score. I told her to her face, I'm like, I'm surprised it came from you. That's pretty awesome. This is really, really, really cool. How to know if you're living in the old earth or the new earth, and what I would probably say the third density versus fourth density kind of type stuff would be the way I would phrase it for any of you guys that have been following my Law of One series. That said, I still think this is beautiful, no matter what angle you come at this from.
This is how to know if you're living from old earth or new earth. Old earth is a third density frequency. It is based upon fear, separation, and scarcity. So if you're living from any of these places, you're living in old earth. Within this space, you live from ego. You want to have a status, and you get validation externally. Within your success, it's based upon the amount of money that you have, the amount of power that you have, the amount of fame that you have. Within your relationships, they are built upon codependency, and they are quite often abusive and toxic. Your nervous system in old earth energy, it is dysregulated. It is constantly in fight or flight. And within spirituality, you bypass a lot. You are not embodied with your connection to source. And there is lots of worshiping towards Jesus, worshiping towards a religion. And in old earth energy, there is lots of power over one another. To live in new earth energy, this is fourth density energy. This is a space of unity, truth, coherence, and love. Within this space, you operate from your soul, not from a program or programming. Your success is based upon alignment. It's based upon service to others. You feel peace in your service. You feel freedom rather than just success with money. Within your relationships, they are conscious, they are heart-led, they are not from codependency or from fear, and you have a sovereign connection. You have a connection within yourself that allows you in your relationships to be in a connection of love. And your nervous system is regulated, it is grounded, it is calm. And spiritually, you have a direct connection to source because you know it. You know that you are a part of God, not something separate from it. And you have power within yourself rather than power over others. Where most of you are living is in this in-between space. You're living still in old earth energy, but you're starting to incorporate and live from new earth energy. So if you want to make this full transition, what you want to do is first heal your trauma. Do it through breath work, somatic healing, regulating your nervous system. And as you do that, start to live from love rather than living from fear. As you start to do that, remember your divine truth. Remember that you are connected to God. You are a part of the infinite creator, the infinite source. And then lastly, serve from your heart. It might be really hard, but serve from your heart rather than for money. Don't do things for money. Do them because they feel true to you. They feel true within your heart. As you start to do this, you will make the transition from living in old earth towards new earth.
That's great advice. Great advice. And so hopefully heeded well amongst many of us. Got some stuff here also. My girlfriend, so this was from an individual. I swear to God, this must be someone from my audience. Maybe it's not, but I feel like this has to be someone in my audience. They're talking perfectly. So Jester3334, whoever you are, God bless you. My girlfriend and I were having drinks tonight at Ruth's Chris in Marina del Rey and got into a pretty deep conversation with an older African-American customer. He was an engineer by trade who had received his degree from Harvard. His biggest frustration with Trump was that Trump attacked his alma mater. When I asked why Harvard relied on federal funds instead of the insanely large endowment, he didn't have an answer. When I pointed out that if Harvard is willing to rely on federal funds, then the federal government had every right to question how it's used. Again, he had no answer. As the night went on, I explained the uniparty concept to him, which he initially brushed aside as conspiracy theory, and I just let it go. As he closed out his tab, he walked over and shook our hands and said we were the coolest MAGA people he'd ever met. I told him we weren't an enemy. We had we had way more in common than most liberals think. He smiled and said that I might be onto something. I took it as a victory. And you certainly should have, so good job. Good job for sure. I feel like that has to be one of my peeps. Let's see, post 154, just a good reminder. I forget who MI was, so sorry for failing this part, but 154. Who financed 9/11? Who was bin Laden's handler? Why was the Clowns in America tasked to hunt, kill, capture Osama bin Laden? Why not MI? If we found UBL, eliminated his security, why would we immediately kill him and not take him alive? Why wouldn't we want to capture UBL alive and extract other possible T-level events? Exactly. Kind of the same reason why I'd be surprised if Epstein is actually alive. He was one I figured they'd smoke early on. Just knew too many things. Knew too many people. Knew too much. Now, maybe, again, he's in protective custody. I know there's always a rumor with every single person out there that they're in protective custody. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, best we know, best what we've been told by Cash and even Bongino, the dude's dead. That much is true, whether he did it himself or not. Texas Senate passes big, beautiful congressional redistricting map after 8-hour debate, heading to Abbott's desk. I'm sure he'll sign it tomorrow in some sort of fanfare. So, big deal, in the big picture. Now, of course, Gavin Newsom preparing to violate the state constitution to save democracy in his redistricting battle. And again, my point is always funny. It's like the left says, well, you did it, so then we did it too. And it's like, well, you guys have done it first. It's invented by you. You've started this. We're just doing it also. And that's pissing you off. Whatever the case, Newsom has launched this $100 million campaign that is backed by Planned Parenthood, of all things, and servicing employment. So, by the way, where are they getting the money? Because that's obviously not coming from U.S. aid anymore, and it's not coming from government funding, but maybe they've got some money in the bank. The Service Employees International Union is part of this. California Teachers Association is a part of this, of course. And the California Federation of Labor Unions and a handful of billionaire donors. Billionaire donors, people. Everybody's like, Democrats are not beholden to, it's the Republicans. They're making billionaires richer. Hello, dude. Hello. Seriously, Silicon Valley. You guys are the biggest hypocrites on the face of the earth. Now, there's a lot of discussions around whether or not this is even going to pass. There's a lot of stuff that's got to go through. Gavin Newsom's pushing it. This literally has changed the Constitution. This was voted in back in 2008, 2010 to have this group control the redistricting so we could trust things. And now we've got Gavin Newsom trying to break that, which was voted by the people, so they can, in fact, mess with it. And then, of course, there's the big question. It's like, well, yeah, but we don't want to do it forever, just for a short period of time. And that never is the case. So we have a bit of a problem that we're working through here. It's all right, though. It's all right. We're going to take care of this. We're going to take care of business. What do they call it? Proposition. I don't know what the proposition number is. Yeah, because this is the one back in 2010. Oops. Oh, well. Oh, well, I say. Yeah, we'll go. Next story. Vance on the Texas redistricting. We're basically trying to make the situation a little bit more fair nationally. Said if someone was asking him if President Trump's agenda is so popular, why do Republicans need to add additional seats? Again, this is so funny. Vance responded by asking Welker why Democrats gerrymandered their states aggressively over the past 10 to 20 years. Why is it okay for you guys to do it? He mentioned Massachusetts, where President Trump won 36% of the vote, as an example of a state with no Republican federal representatives. 36% was won by Trump. They have zero representatives that are actually Republican. So in contrast, former Vice President Kamala Harris won 61% of the vote, winning her state in 2024. All 9 congressional districts in the state are represented by Democrats, and 5 of the state House members ran unopposed in 2024. So again, they're pointing the finger at us, making it sound like we're the ones that are doing some sort of horrible thing. It's not. We're just trying to actually even the field a little bit, and we're doing something that's legal and okay and been done many, many, many times. They're pissed because, well, we've got more states we can do it with. They've run out. Republicans shift focus to states beyond Texas, in fact. So they're looking at some of these other states to try to get the ball rolling and see if they can do redistricting in a few different places. Likely picking up seats in the House, certainly seats in the states, but also possibly seats in the federal government. So we'll see how it plays out. Again, it's going to be a fun little drama. Mass casualty bus crash reported on a New York highway. This is very sad. A deadly bus crash. So over 50 people, or roughly 50 people, were on it. It tumbled, and it went into a ditch. People literally were thrown from it. There are definitely people that have died. This is very sad indeed. So, yeah, prayers out to everybody involved with this and family members. And just people that are probably nervous about what's up. Nothing weird was said, though. I'm very curious who the commercial driver's license holder was. Because I think you need the same kind of license to drive a bus as you do to drive a commercial truck. I think it's the same license. I might be wrong on that. Please fact check me. One thing I'm not wrong about is the protection that precious metals offer. Stock exchange is, great. Highest numbers ever. Yeah, sure. Inflation's not looking great. It's actually gone up a little bit. It's going to make the problem the Fed has that much harder, which I think this coming talk is going to be tricky. I don't know. Personally, I'm doubtful he's going to raise it. I think he's going to be like, I think we're going to go one more month and see how the numbers kind of lay out. My guess. I think when he does that, it's going to hurt the market a little, but they're going to be able to keep it afloat. I think what happens after is going to be where things start to get a little strange, because this system is about to break, and it is not in a good place. And monetarily, from where we are right now, price of gold's up quite a bit. It's at 34.17, so it's still in a great place. And silver's actually really high right now, by the way, 38.80. So it's almost at 39. It's high, which is incredible. Now, one of the things that's really awesome is if you're in a 401k or an IRA, you're attached to a stock market that's the best it's probably ever going to be or been, and we'll see how much further that goes. But you're also buying into a precious metals market that is just going up and has continued to do so. Now, there's been a lot of growth, sure, already. There's a lot expected to continue to come. There's a lot of things that are expected to happen, at least the way the movie seems to be playing out. There's certain things that need to happen. This is not going to help your 401k or IRA. It's probably going to hit it a little bit. Maybe you hang on to it and see what happens, sure. Or maybe you protect yourself, because we're probably going to be getting rid of the Fed at some point. And having the precious metals already, it's going to be a precious metals backed system we're going into. You're already going to be halfway there, basically. It'll be very easy to transition this into the new currency, and that'll be a fantastic step that you can do. This is actual physical metals, and you can do it tax-free and penalty-free. And Goldco is going to offer up to 10% free silver. For whatever you transfer over, they'll match up to 10%. Depends on the dollar amounts. It's up to 5 to 10% depending. But you're getting free silver. Silver is one of those commodities that's expected to also jump quite a bit. And there's a number of people talking about that. We've got something funky on the horizon. Where exactly it happens, nobody knows. We've got hints. But I've kind of seen a 6-month windows where I'm guesstimating it's going to come in. And really, frankly, September through probably March of next year, some things are going to change in a big way. There's going to be some pretty significant changes. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of that system. What would they say? Diversify from that system. You can keep some in there. You can keep putting it in there if you want. But this is going to diversify and save that buying power. It is a powerful way to protect yourself and make sure you're going to do fine in the big picture. You're still going to be able to buy the same amount of basic stuff that you can right now. But every day, inflation takes a bite out of that right now, careful not to wait too terribly long. DRSlikesgold.com, DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of that system before they get out of you. All right, Epstein stuff. We got a few things to point out here. One, holy crud, man, she was a busty lady, wasn't she? DOJ drops transcripts, audio of Ghislaine Maxwell. So they did. We got some transcripts. We got some stuff. Now, two things pointed out in this that I thought were pretty interesting. One is that the Trump was never inappropriate, is what she said. So this documentation that they're getting out, and it's pissing off some Democrats, we're going to get there too, but this is information they want out before they release any Epstein files at all, which the deep state knows there's stuff in there that shouldn't be there. I'm assuming Comey's daughter had something to do with it, or someone that was working for her, or whatever. Or, yeah, whatever. But the Ghislaine Maxwell says father was an intelligence asset. Many are trying to spin that he was, in fact, Mossad. She's saying, not exactly. And I thought what she said was pretty cool. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, here it is, this one here. And I don't know. I thought it spoke to it nicely. You can make up your mind what you think the underlying belief should be.
With respect to your father, there have been multiple questions about whether he worked for any intelligence agency. Do you have any knowledge about that?
I think, well, certainly my father had a background in intelligence because he was, I believe he did in the Second World War. He was a British intelligence officer. I think that my sort of belief is that once you've been an intelligence officer, you're kind of always, it doesn't mean that you're formally employed. So I don't think my dad in any formal sense was employed by any agency, but when you are a very significant businessman and politician, as my father was, you meet with people all the time and you, I guess, trade business or ideas. I think if that would fall under that definition, that's how I would think of it. Now, he certainly, I have no formal knowledge of anything specifically that he did in that thing, but if you're asking me if I thought that he did help people, the answer would be yes, I do.
Did your father and Mr. Epstein have a business relationship over the years? I know we're maybe jumping around a little bit.
They never met. So
as far as you know, they never even met.
No,
they never met.
I know they never met.
Yeah. So again, was he involved in intelligence? Certainly he was. For the crown, supposedly, even, right? So again, was he tied into the deep state? Probably. What agency that happened to be? Maybe it's all of them. That's kind of the thing that a lot of us, I think, have a hard time understanding is it's not Mossad, it's not CIA, it's not MI6, it's all of them in many cases. The deep state is, I think, a much better term for all of this craziness. Now, we got the transcripts. I actually opened up a couple of them because I wanted to point out a couple interesting things, mainly the Trump side of this, because it's actually easy, and this is a fun little thing to show people that maybe you never realized you could do. There's audio recordings, lots of them, so you can certainly listen to, I think, most of this. What I found to be interesting was doing searches for Trump. All right, so I did a Trump search, and what in most in Windows computers, Control F will be your control find. So you can just go into a document like this, hit Control F, and you can begin doing a search. You type whatever you want to search for, and it will show all the places it exists. There happens to be 22 examples. I think maybe in a Windows, you hit Windows F. I think maybe. I don't know. However you do find on a Windows or Apple computer, I'm sorry, Apple find. But yeah, whatever the case. Anyway, all said, let's show the first one. She's talking about in the 90s, came over to New York to help look at some of this real estate or something she was doing. She's having some advertising issues with the New York Daily News. Oh, yeah, she was buying a magazine and a news thing. And in fact, I may have met Donald Trump at that time because my father was friendly with him and liked him very much. So there was the first example of Trump. She was talking about him in that regard. So I don't remember if I did meet him or not in 1990 with my dad, but I knew that that's how I knew about Mr. Trump. So this is where she starts talking, a little bit about Trump. Todd Bledge said, you mentioned President Trump early on. Who were other famous politicians? Who were other individuals in Mr. Epstein's life during that time period? So the early 90s. Now, she does list off some names, people I'm not familiar with per se. She says it was the 90s. Should we just, Todd Blanche, yes. Ghislaine says, okay. Congressman McMillan. Todd Blanchett, say it again. Ghislaine said McMillan. Todd Blanche, okay. Henry, Ghislaine continues, Henry Rozovsky, who was the provost of Harvard. I don't know what that is. Hang on, and then something. Todd Blanche, sure, you're looking at your notes. Ghislaine, yes. Todd, go ahead. Ghislaine, Joe Pagano, Jerry Goldsmith, Joe Roberts, Kenny Lipper, Dan Abramson. I don't know if any of the 90s, Tom Pritzker, Ace, Jimmy Kane, Lou Ranieri. I mean, there were, what about your royal family? Ghislaine, no, he didn't know them in the 90s. Todd, what about what about Prince Andrew? Didn't know him in the 90s. Okay, so just wanted to cover that part because I thought that was interesting. So the next Trump thing, Todd says, and you mentioned that early in the very beginning of the conversation, you mentioned President Trump in early 90s. Said, yes. Let's see. What did you observe as far as President Trump and his relationship with you or Mr. Epstein? Well, I just want to say for my relationship with President Trump, relationship's a big word, but I just want to say that I met him, or I believe I may have, because of my father in the 90s. Todd Blanche, yep, okay. Ghislaine, so my father liked him very much, and he was loved, really liked his wife as well, because they were both Czechoslovakian. And as far as I'm concerned, President Trump was always very cordial and very kind to me. And I just want to say that I admire his extraordinary achievement in becoming the president now. And I like him, and I've always liked him. So that is the sum and substance of my entire relationship with him. And he says, well, what about Epstein's relationship with him? I don't know how they met, and I don't know how they became friends. I certainly saw them together, and I remember the few times I observed them together, but they were friendly. I mean, they seemed friendly. Todd Blanche, was that in social settings, or was that in private settings? Ghislaine, I believe I only ever saw them in social settings. I don't recall any private settings. Todd, have you ever been to Mar-a-Lago and Palm Beach? Ghislaine, I have. Todd, in what time period are you thinking about when you say yes? She says, I don't remember when the president purchased Mar-a-Lago, so from whenever it turned into the club, I went there, and I loved going there. Todd Blanche, did you go there alone or with Mr. Epstein? Ghislaine, mostly alone. Todd, do you know where? Ghislaine, and the times I went there, it was for an event, maybe once or twice. We'll wait at the next Trump part. So what's you observe as far as President Trump and his relationship with Epstein? Well, I just want to say for my relationship with President Trump, let's go to the next one here. We already read this. So he said Trump a few times. Trump is always very cordial. We read that. President Trump received a message. Ghislaine, never. Okay, so this is, I believe, did he, Ghislaine, we'll go back a little bit. Todd says, did you ever go there alone with Mr. Epstein? I was almost here anyway. How funny. The times I always went there was for events, once or twice. And do you know whether Mr. Epstein ever went there? Ghislaine says, I believe he did, but again, we really were, he didn't take me with him all the time. So he would go and, he did from time to time, but he would go alone. I think he would go by himself to the spa. I certainly did. Todd said, did you ever observe President Trump receive a massage? Ghislaine Maxwell, never. Did you ever observe, you said that you were, have you ever seen there's a photograph, public photographs of Mr. Epstein and President Trump together? Ghislaine, yes. And Todd says, and there's photographs of, I think you're in some of the photographs. Ghislaine Maxwell, yes. Todd says as well, those all appear to be social settings. Ghislaine says yes. Todd, Ghislaine, that's my memory. They were social settings. I don't know Epstein. If he had, I don't know Epstein's, I'm sorry. If he had, whatever the nature of the president's friendship, if you will, or however you want to define that with Epstein, I was never witnessed. I think they were friendly, like people are in social settings. I don't think they were close friends, or I certainly never witnessed the president in I don't recall ever seeing him in his house, for instance. I actually never saw the president in any type of massage setting. I never witnessed the president in any inappropriate setting in any way. The president was never inappropriate with anybody. In the times that I was with him, he was a gentleman in all respects. So again, we'll just hop through a few of these, but yeah, Trump is. Did you ever observe the public photographs of Trump? You saw the person, president, right? So we just read a bunch of this stuff. The article talking about, they get to the picture with the naked, bodies on the outside. She basically says she doesn't know what was sent for that book. She wasn't necessarily directly involved with it. There was some stuff that Epstein had asked for directly. All said, there's not a lot, but it's kind of cool. At the very bottom of it, they do show all the places where the word Trump actually shows up. So it's already documented in the documents, which is super cool that they baked that in. They also did that on this particular transcript as well. This one doesn't have very many Trumps. It's only got 3, in fact. So there's this. This is the earlier conversations I want to say before. I think they're just referencing some of the original stuff. Let's see, incredible job that you've done. Yeah, again, this nothing in here that's dangerous in any way, shape, or form. Talked about Diddy. It was a weird thing. How to satisfy a mob and all this stuff. But anyway, so there's nothing in here about Trump in any sort of negative way. So she does not call him out in any sort of negative way. Now, Raskin, Ghislaine Maxwell's prison interview is a whitewash and a cover-up. It's information, right? Now, is it a cover-up? Kind of. Because what they're alleging or alluding to was these Epstein files that haven't been released, where they've most likely planted some crap, and that's what we're well aware of. So I think the Trump administration's getting out up in front of it, and they're like, look, we're going to go straight to the prisoners, straight to the horse's mouth. We're going to get Jizz's take on this stuff and see what she thinks, right? So you can't do much better than that. She's the only one that's still alive. So that's kind of cool, right? Got some crazy conspiracy type stuff to talk about. Love this. Here is Jim Jordan. This is not political retribution. This is accountability, baby. And I think he's 100% right. Check it out. He's on Fox News.
Now, of course, the left and the right and their allies in the media wasted no time melting down over the news and accusing the Trump administration of weaponizing the justice system, seemingly forgetting how they treated President Trump over the last 4 years. Take a look.
Your reaction to hearing that John Bolton's home is now been searched by the FBI?
Well, Kate, the timing of this is chilling.
The fact that the FBI director, goes online and tweets about this or whatever form of posting he did, the fact that the vice president of the United States jumps on that suggests that this is a politically motivated gesture.
It does feel like this is yet another norm broken in a real serious way.
What I'm concerned about even more is that this is somehow political retribution, that the FBI has become the Federal Bureau of Inquisition.
We know that the president is embarked on a pretty extensive effort to go after his perceived enemies, to,
he said he was running on
revenge
retribution.
tour. That's right. I am your retribution. That's what he told his supporters. So there's all kinds of reasons, I think, to look at this with a jaundiced eye.
House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan is here now with more. Thank you so much for joining us, Congressman. I don't know if you were able to hear that. Nicole Parker did a very good job of sort of laying out exactly what the safeguards were going into this raid, but also pointing out the differences between the raid we saw this morning and the raid against Mar-a-Lago. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, but no, I think Nicole's exactly right. I don't know how this went down today, but you're right. The press wasn't there. There wasn't all this, the big scene that it was 3 years ago this month when they raided President Trump's home. I think the big takeaway, though, is think about what we've learned in the last 4 weeks. Because of the good work of the Attorney General, of Director Patel, of ODNI Director Tulsi Gabbard, think about what we've learned. We learned that Jim Comey and his chief of staff were leaking classified information. We learned that a whistleblower has come forward and said Adam Schiff was leaking classified information. We learned from Tulsi Gabbard that there's another whistleblower who said that they changed the intelligence community assessment. They changed the report to say something different back before President Trump even took office, between Election Day 2016 and Inauguration Day. And now we learn And that change, by the way, Charlie, was done by Brennan and Clapper at their urging. The report was changed back then. And now we learned today that John Bolton mishandled classified information. So you got Comey, Schiff, Clapper, Brennan, Bolton, all out to undermine the president. That's the story here. You mentioned the deep state a few minutes ago. That's the deep state in action, trying to sabotage the guy we the people put into the Oval Office. That's what they tried to do. And now you got good people running these federal agencies who are looking at the facts and just going on the facts and bringing that forward. This is not political retribution. This is accountability. And it's exactly what the American people voted on when they put President Trump in the White House on November 5th.
Okay, and so I think it's so interesting. Those forces operated throughout President Trump's first term. They continued to operate for the entire 4 years of the Biden administration. Have they been neutered now? Have those forces been silenced? Have they been broken?
Well, I do think it was interesting what Greg said as well. The arrogance of these individuals. We actually deposed Mr. Clapper and Mr. Brennan last Congress on a different issue. Remember, they also signed that now famous letter, the 51 former Intel officials who think they're so much smarter than us hillbillies in flyover country, signed the letter saying the laptop wasn't real when they knew it was. The FBI had the laptop. So we deposed. But yeah, these guys are all think they're better than us. Now, President Trump has taken their security clearances, which I think is a good first step. Right. And we'll see what happens. We know that Attorney General Bondi is looking into the issue Tulsi brought forward, the changing of this intelligence community assessment in 2016 and 2017. I think Mr. Brennan said things to Trey Gowdy in a committee hearing. I think he may have said things to us in our deposition last Congress that don't make sense. So I'm glad she's investigating that. And I'm glad Mr. Bolton, if he in fact kept classified information. You know what this sounds like too? This is what Joe Biden did. Joe Biden kept classified information at his home because he was writing a book. We had that hearing with Special Counsel Hur, and we asked Mr. Hur, and there were 8 million reasons why Joe Biden kept that classified information, because that's the advance he got for the book that he was writing. It looks like John Bolton may have been doing the exact same thing. So God bless these great people who are now head of these agencies who are getting to the facts and bringing it forward. And if people need to be indicted, that's going to be up to the Attorney General's office or the Justice Department, and I have complete confidence in them.
And of course, we also know that the only reason that Joe Biden wasn't charged is because he was A, president, and B, he was too mentally incompetent to stand trial for those things. So, Jim Jordan, thank you so much for joining.
And obviously, Michael Bolton's not going to be able to stand trial because of that mustache. I'm just kidding. We'll see what happens, right? We'll see what happens. FBI believes Bolton should face charges over alleged emailed classified docs to family. This is something that happened. It's been investigated already prior. This is totally irrelevant to them raiding his home. This goes back further. This alleged crime was first identified in 2020 before he was fired by Trump. So, or after he was fired by Trump, I think. Well, whatever. Right around when he got fired by Trump. He very specific intelligence capacity that helped produce damning intelligence that Bolton had transferred classified documents to his wife and daughter from his White House desk before Trump fired him in September of 2019. We found out about it, or it was first identified apparently in 2020. That's why kind of timing is weird on it. Investigators opened the case entirely separate from a different investigation into Bolton's alleged inclusion of national security secrets in his 2020 book. Totally separate issue. So this got stopped once Biden took office, this investigation. Again, the deep state's looking out for their own. They liked the fact that he was bad-mouthing Trump, is the way the article phrases it, but he was a deep state plant all along. That's what he was. That's why he was a war hawk. He wanted more war, because that's what the deep state wants. They're bad people like that. Mike Pence posted this. Never forget, they arrested the U.S. president, his lawyers, his accountants, his campaign manager, his media allies, and even his freaking valet. I added the freaking part. Here's a nice visual of that. Here are the people, at least a good chunk of them, that have been arrested by the Biden's Department of Justice. This is politically motivated. Is it? I can't name all these people, but yeah, these are all a bunch of Trump's people around him. And a priest, for crying out loud. And of course, Trump in the middle. This is political retribution. You guys already attacked us, hypocrites, all right? It ain't going to roll. It ain't going to roll, dude. We ain't going to play that game. We ain't rolling over for you. Now, interestingly, at first I saw this, I'm like, I've got to tell the people out there, a bunch of people I know that have iPhones. And then it dawned on me after, I'm like, ooh, when I found this story, right? When I saw this, I was like, oh, this is what this all comes down to is this dude, I think, got busted, and many others probably have, using this exploit. There was an exploit. They didn't know about it at Apple. And I believe this flaw was being used by, well, probably the white hats to spy on people or to get information out of their phones. Whatever the case is, Apple figured it out and they're patched it, right? So if you have an Apple, and I don't want to list off all the different products, if you've got an Apple that's updatable, I would check, because this goes back, I think, pretty far to some of the different earlier generations. But if you've got an Apple product, I would immediately try to go and get an update. They've got this patched already, and you will be able to get this thing out. It just had to do with the way a processing of an image file occurred, which may result in memory corruption, is all they would say. Apple never reveals how jacked it was. My guess is they were able to get into the phone or utilize the files that existed on the phone, and probably were able to exploit all sorts of crazy information. So, all said, you can protect yourself by very easily updating your device. Trump warns D.C. mayor, address fake crime stats or face federal takeover. We'll see where it goes. They're just trying to make some noise, if you know what I mean. SecDef Hegseth authorized thousands of armed National Guards to patrol D.C., so they're allowed to hold weapons. I think some of that was while Trump was actually out on the streets. I don't know if that's permanent or not. We'll get more information probably tomorrow, but it is a big part of that whole keep things safe, obviously. They are allowed to detain people. They cannot arrest them. That is where that law happens to take place. But they can detain them until the police show up. So they are working with the police, and things are getting cleaned up. Now, we do have some very strange stuff going on there. We're going to get there, I think, next. FBI Director Kash Patel posting new stats for us. Thanks to the FBI and teams on the ground getting after last night, there were 27 arrests from FBI personnel, 1 illegal firearm recovery, 7 drug seizures, 91 individuals arrested by federal partners, and pursuant to @Real Donald Trump's initiative, we are up over 800 arrests in the Make DC Safe Again mission. Over 800 arrests so far. 91 individuals arrested, assuming last night or maybe over the weekend. This was 23rd, so this would have been yesterday. Maybe we'll get some fresh numbers tomorrow. We'll see, right? Also, yeah, this is the crazy thing. Check this out. Some weird stuff going on in D.C. Anyway, they got some crazy stuff going on there. And it's just, the bike thing's kind of interesting. This is happening in a number of cities right now, and I'm quite sure there's counter methods being created. What's a little scary is, 1, none of these people are wearing helmets. That's bad. 2, they're on vehicles that probably do not have licenses, so there's not like you can figure out who it belongs to. So there's a lot of weird things. Now, they do have a lot of cameras throughout the city, and likely will be able to figure out, except for the ones that are smart enough to bring these things in by vehicle, and probably closed container vehicle, to be really smart. Otherwise, the ones that are dumb enough to ride them back to their homes are probably going to get captured. Maybe that was some of the arrests, but it's a new world. Bill Maher, now prepare yourself. It's pretty good. I don't know. I like it. We're playing it a little faster speed, too, to help. But he takes his jabs at Trump multiple times, but if you wait till the end, you'll darn near appreciate what happens. I think it's pretty good. Hey, look, he's left center right now, but he's one of these common ground people that we might be able to utilize. You know what I mean? And at the end, a slight little hug back to Trump, and now he's finally gotten to me. Like, you finally hit my little tiny 3% people. Again, a lot of jabs in there. I don't know. I'm enjoying the movie, guys. I'm enjoying the process. I'm enjoying the way it's ruffling feathers in the right way, I think even within our own group, we're getting our feathers ruffled in the right way. Like, we all need to adjust, self-included. By no means. My shit stinks. I'm just letting you know. Maybe not the best. Yeah, too much info. Whatever. Trump targets comprehensive review of all 55 million visa holders. All of them. 55 million of them. Trump's going to look at them individually. Not himself, of course. Don't be stupid. And they're going to use technology. Get out of here. They're going to find some common things. But yeah, if you're basically a douchehole and you're in this country on a student visa or a visa of any kind, you're going to have to switch to Federal Express. Just kidding. You shouldn't leave home without it, though. No. National Guard, I actually don't like that company, by the way, so I'm not promoting them. Just thought it was funny. National Guard mobilizing across 19 states to clean up Democratic Party's alarming failures. Now, I thought some of these states are Republican states. I think we've got some blue cities, and I think Trump's sending some guard in to fix this. But we got Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Louisiana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Mexico, Ohio, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, y'all, Texas, tacos, Utah, Virginia, and Wyoming. There's some Republican cities in there, or states, I should say. But they're sending them in because there's bad crime. Now, the bigger thing on this, I think that we've got to pay attention to. We've won through the Q posts, and I didn't pull them all up for you guys. I'm sure somebody is right now. But there was definitely Q posts to talk about having the National Guard in place before. Now, this is every single year. There's a date. I think it's tied to October or some shit, but that's when it was posted. So whatever. I don't think, but every single year they're like, this, it's going to happen. But I do think it's actually now happening. When the troops are actually being sent out to these locations, one, it's either A, to clean up what's already in existence. That very well could be a big part of it. Two, troops in place for places that special arrests may be going down. Troops in places where we know that planned events are supposed to happen. So there's a lot to this, I think. And I actually think it's more of all the above than one of those three choices. There's probably like choice D, like a bunch of things are being accomplished right now. I think this is definitely how they're hiding amongst the troops, amongst the, again, you can have a Humvee pull up to a certain location if you know that the National Guard's in your area, and it won't trip you out when it normally would. Changes things a lot. So again, get ready. Stuff's getting close. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker slams President Donald Trump for saying Chicago crime crackdown may be next. Well, he said that, you douchehole. Of course it's coming. That's not good. You have one of the nastiest cities on this planet. And, to rank who's next, I mean, it'd be tough. But people die in Chicago every single day. But that's okay. That's okay, is what I'm guessing. Because otherwise you do something about it. You wouldn't stop releasing people without bail. You wouldn't stop putting people back out on the street after violent crime after violent crime after violent crime. Get out of here, Pritzker. Yeah. Granted, he's lost some weight. I was going to call him a fatty, but actually he's lost some weight. And I don't want to be mean. I don't want to be mean in that regard. That's not fair because it's a struggle. I get it, man. Even if I think you're a total douchehole, and even if I think you're evil, right? If I met like the evil Fat Albert, and then he showed up in front of me, hey, and he's like skinny, be like, yo, you lost some weight, you evil piece of shit. Wow, damn. Okay, that's awesome. Good for you, man. How'd you do it? Stop sucking off the souls of individuals. Yeah. Judge frees Kilmore Abrego Garcia. This is like his time ran up. They keep him safe in jail. So supposedly ICE is like, oh, we're gonna get him. They're gonna nab his ass. He probably went into hiding in some weird kind of way, and ICE is like, nah, we'll get him. Don't you worry. This dude's an idiot. He's gonna text somebody. And we're gonna own him. I'll be safe because I'm inside. I'm gonna text him really quick, and then I'll turn my phone off. They'll never catch me. Ding dong. Fuck. Yeah, that's pretty much how that's going to play out. Boston cops are defying left-wing Mayor Michelle Wu. She's kind of cute. By secretly providing immigration officials with information to help arrest criminal illegals. So we've got Boston cops helping the ICE people when they're not supposed to. Because Ms. Wu, I wish I had a picture of Wu in there. She's not shown. Mike Lindell is a good man. I like him. I think he's funny as hell. And I'll tell you what, he is who he is 100% of the time. I would say, as far as authentic goes, like him, me, like no offense, I'm not trying to pat my own back. It's just, I think it's really nice when you meet people that are authentic, because there's a lot of bullshit people in the world. I'm not perfect. I make lots of mistakes. Mike Lindell, he's certainly not perfect. He's made lots of mistakes. He'll probably make many more mistakes too. I would say he would probably agree with me 100%. One mistake he hasn't made, though, is trusting in our platform, our people, us, you guys. Yeah, you guys. You guys got us this cool coupon code. Well, we're working together on this. OTF. If you go to mypillow.com/OTF, that's mypillow.com/OTF. By the way, I found out from my good friend Paul, who sells Split Rock Coffee. He's also got that going on, mystore.com/OTF. They got Split Rock Coffee. You can do a search over there, but you can actually buy that too. Just go to mystore.com/OTF and get some of that Split Rock Coffee. Check out some of the other cool stuff. I love that spray on wax. That's one of my favorite things over there. But there's probably so many other cool things. You should seriously go shopping, because it's like almost the replacement of Amazon, and I think they're going to get better, especially as we use it more, at breaking it down so you can find stuff easier. But it's you should go shopping is what I think you should do. mystore.com/OTF. That said, you get free shipping over here at MyPillow. And they've got some great stuff. They brought back the percale sheets. Literally, I got a phone call from MyPillow. MyPillow Secret. It's like the MI6 of MyPillow. I got like special connections over there, and they're like, Bring. I'm like, yo, what's up? And they instantly go into the secret handshake passwords. I've got to tear off a thing. All right, VFCQ asterisk. And then, you're in, So they gave us this frickin' percale sheets. Dude, $29.88. Any size, any color? Dude, you got a bed in your house that you need some extra sheets for? You got a kid that has a problem right now? I'm just saying. My slippers, $39.98. I can reach it. Look at these things, dude. Look at that fur. Look at that fuzz. Look at that. The sole, too. I mean, we can even show it from the front. Like, it doesn't, bulge out. Like, it stays attached. I've had these things. These I've had for, 3 years probably now. Probably. That's the fuzz falls all over. What is going on? This is incredible. These are so very comfortable. These are outdoor shoes. It's no slip. Again, you can wear them inside, outside, upside down, but I don't recommend wearing them outside then inside, because then, now it's just a shoe, and that's stupid. It's just a slipper. You should be good. $39.98. They've got cool colors. They're going out of stock. I'd take advantage of it before the holidays. Again, free shipping. Did I mention that? And they supposedly got better digital coupes. You should go check it out. Go to mypillow.com/OTF. Mypillow.com/OTF. Check out their towels. Check out their pillows. Check out their mattresses. You can have a mattress shipped to you. Did I mention for free? Have we talked about the free? What about your dog? How many dog beds do you have that are My Pillows? How many? Do you have any? Do you love your dogs? I mean, your dogs are going to be stoked. Think about it. You could, if you're a husband, you should buy one of these for your dogs. Why? Because if for some reason you ever have one of those nights where you're like, I freaking don't. She's snoring like a freaking ripsaw chain, whatever. I don't know, whatever. Dude, kick your dog off its bed, put him on the couch, and get yourself that bed. Just fall asleep on that, man. Even though half your body's hanging out. You're going to love me for telling you this. Tell me. Dog beds, get them. $39.98. I think it's a little bit more for the big guy. Check them out. Go to mypillow.com/OTF. Free shipping. Did I mention that? mypillow.com/OTF. get the best night of sleep you've ever had. Apparently, I've somewhat made that up, but it's really close to one he's already done. So I'm almost copywriting, like breaking a copyright thing that Mike had. He actually, we talked about that. It was very funny, I thought. I'm like, I'm just waiting for the cease and desist. Dan, can you stop making up slogans for us? You're supposed to use our slogan. I don't want to. Oops. I'm going to use my slogan. Primary challenger to Maryland Democrat Governor Wes Moore. He's jumping over to the GOP. He's probably going to win over there possibly too, which is interesting. This is a thing that I think is going to start happening. He's not saying he's not necessarily a Democrat per se, but he's running as a GOP candidate that is going after the person that's the Democrat choice. But this dude actually thinks he can beat the Democrat choice, just can't beat it from within the Democrat Party. This dude's acknowledging the problem the Democrats create for them, their own selves. People are starting to see that within the Democrat Party. The Democrat awakening is occurring. Zohran Mamdani. He wants to end all misdemeanor charges. Easy passes for criminals, right? All misdemeanors. So if crime is not a crime anymore, then why would you not care about committing crime? It makes our crime numbers look better, though, if I don't actually have criminals. I'm so smart. My name's Zohran Mamdani. I'm a communist. Letitz James is going to advance fraud appeal as DOJ pressure campaign intensifies. So she's going to appeal this Trump thing where they basically said, no, this is ridiculous. So she's going to appeal that. Obviously, New York needs the money. They probably already spent it, frankly. Well, it's supposed to be in a place where they can't touch it, so hopefully they haven't. This is going on in UK, man. Some crazy stuff's happening, and one, we're going to talk about the corruption that's going on there in the UK, and that's also interesting in its own right, just how they continue to silence their people, and the people are literally rising up. Many are saying there's going to be a revolution in some way. I didn't like talking about that stuff when it was happening here in America, so I'm not necessarily trying to push for that. They're calling it the CW, Civil War, and I don't like that idea. But I like the idea of people finally waking up, but they're not allowed to put their flags up. They're not allowed to do a bunch of things that are happening in England. I think I got a little more on that. We'll skip past it when we get there. But this is also funny when it deals with some of these crazy-ass European laws that are happening where they're like, you can't say stuff on your American platform. We do not let you. That's against the law. And so we're going to fine you. So 4chan is getting fined by this Ofcom's fining 20,000 pounds, I think a day or so far. And 4chan's like, we're not going to pay it. 4chan's like, we're an American business. We're not going to surrender our First Amendment rights because a foreign bureaucrat sends us an email. No, ain't happening. So Ofcom is the UK's regulator to enforce all this nonsense. 4chan basically told them to go pound sand. Or F off, really, is what's going on. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this, though. I was all into it when I was pulling the numbers. I thought I was just super smart, and I am. I mean, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I wish people understood the complexities of economics. Most people don't. It's cool. It's kind of a waste of time. That's from the hard part of it. All said, these are the cities where the groceries are the most expensive. I just want to point some of them out. So you got Honolulu, San Francisco, New York, Seattle, Boston, San Jose, Washington, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Sacramento, Los Angeles, yada, 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 right? Now, what I also wanted to point out that I thought was cool, here is the most expensive places to rent. New York City. Hang on. New York City. Where are they? Oh, they're number 3 over here on most expensive groceries. Oh, they're also most expensive to rent. What else? San Jose, California. Is that possibly in here someplace? Oh, look at that. Number 6, San Jose, California. Boston. Oh, Boston can't possibly be on this list. Oh, my God. It's number 5. What about San Francisco? Well, would you expect to find it number 2? San Francisco. Ladies and gentlemen, San Diego, or San Diego, as a very good Ukrainian friend of mine used to say. San Diego, I think, is somewhere in here. Where the hell are you? I feel like you're in here. You're supposed to be in here. You might be in here. I don't see you in here. Maybe San Diego didn't make the list. Good for you, San Diego. You're not quite in the top 20. You're still working on being sucky. Los Angeles, of course, is in there. I think you're starting to get the point. Los Angeles, where are you? Number 11. Miami. We've got them in there as well. I thought Miami's down at number 19. Now, what I also wanted to point out was highest minimum wages. Now, Seattle on that list back there, it's actually got the highest minimum wage at the airport. Tukwila, I'm not sure. I've been there before. I don't know why it's got its own unique minimum wage, but Seattle's minimum wage is almost $20 per hour. California's just under them by 9 cents in the Los Angeles area. So the expensive continues. SeaTac Airport, 1971, again in Washington State. California, just every single city gets listed out. Denver's actually really high, yet they didn't really show up on the list. They're the only one that there's Denver down here for most expensive rents. So again, I'm trying to correlate and put together a funny little picture. Minimum wage directly correlates to an elevated expense of groceries and an elevated expense of rent, period. End of story. Now, does everybody deserve to make more money? For sure, absolutely. The second you raise minimum wage, you're going to raise your rents, you're going to raise your groceries, you're going to raise a lot of things, including utilities and everything else. So I was trying to sort of prove that without spending an insane amount of time on it, though money wired to Mexico hits a decade low as U.S. immigration policies are starting to take hold. There's a 1% tariff on this stuff, so anybody that tries to transfer money from here to there instantly gets a 1% surcharge. So now they've got to figure out different companies to do that kind of stuff. Any of them that do it illegally are probably going to be getting a knock on the door, if you will. U.S. government finalizes deal for 10% equity stake in Intel. We talked about this. They were going to buy the stock. Trump said, look, here's the thing. If we're going to give them money for this investment to research and figure stuff out, we should get something in return. This is pretty sweet because it's like the government, it's kind of central planning almost in a weird way, but the government's giving large amounts of money to private companies. It's like, what do we get in return? If you want to buy us out, and there's probably something cool in the contract where they can do that. If not, all right, we own 10% of you. You are an asset, and us and Nancy Pelosi will get richer. That's fantastic. So again, on paper, goods that haven't been worked out yet, but nonetheless, 10% Intel growth is a pretty big deal. Donald Trump truthed this out. This is the Fed board. We've got too late. We've also got Liz Cook, the fraudster, with a big giant X through her. She's a big girl. I didn't realize that. We got Barr, Jefferson, Bowman, Moran, and Mirren, and Waller. Right? So a bunch of people have actual names. We've got Too Late Powell, and of course Lisa Cook, the fraudster. Oh, and Trump did 3 of these people. Biden did 3 of these people. I don't know where Lisa Cook came from, but she's going away. She's going to get replaced. That's going to give us 4 people. And them 3 people, and Powell's almost out of there, which will give us another person, so that'll be 5 people to their 2 people. The Fed is being taken over, so maybe this is the way that's going to play out. We'll see. As far as futures go, let's see if this maybe up. I don't know, speed the update up a little bit. The futures don't really start to get crazy until really Monday morning, to be honest with you. But right now they're slightly up. Dow Jones had a great Friday. It was up a bunch, almost 2%. Everybody was up a bunch on Friday, so that's fantastic. Gold down a tiny bit in the big picture, but again, it was 34.17. It's still up a lot right now. We're in a good place. And silver, like I was showing us, is sitting at 38.88, frankly, right now, which is pretty sweet. Things are moving in the right direction. All set. U.S. House adds CBDC ban to a massive defense policy bill, so they're going to actually ban the ability for the central bank to create a digital currency. I think that's going to basically kill a lot of the, I want to say like XRP and stuff, because I think they were tied into this originally. A lot of people were really banking on this thing happening, and this isn't happening. Now, I mean, XRP, I think, has made some other contracts, so I'm not trying to poo-poo them per se. And again, I bought a little of it. I don't know, a little bit. And it's up, I don't know, almost triple from what I bought it at, I think. So, cool. Yay. But at the same time, I don't think it's going to go as big as everybody said it was. Everyone was talking about it like it was the dinar, like the Iraqi money. RFK Jr. moves to end dependency on China pharma supplies. I feel like we talked about this on Friday. But, yeah, they're planning on doing that. We need to. We need to get our dependency away from them for sure. England's anti-mass migration protests. Yeah, people are pissed. I was telling you all about this. We'll see. They look like they're actually mad now. I'm pretty sure the British people are actually angry. Yep. Still a gentleman, though. I'm furious right now, but I'm a gentleman. All right. Well, we'll see, because you guys are getting out in the streets, man. You're going all Doobie Brothers on us and taking it to the streets, getting crazy. America's defense intelligence chief was just fired amidst major Iran leak. Yeah, this dude, Lieutenant General Jeffrey Cruz, was the head of the Pentagon's Defense Intelligence Agency, the DIA, according to the White House and Pentagon officials. The leak happened with the Iran attack, some of the bullshit info that came out. Anyway, it was either somebody under him or him that actually okayed it. Either way, this dude just got strong-armed, or sacked, as they would say in England. Trump tariff projected to cut deficit by $4 trillion. I also think we talked about this on Friday, but that's just, good news. the Congressional Budget Office is like, yeah, no, it looks like this is actually over the next 10 years going to shave $4 trillion off our debt. That's cool. Putin reveals Russia's military advantage. They're talking about their submarines being under the Arctic. The Arctic's melting. A lot of people are like, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start going through the Arctic. And Russia's like, we own the Arctic. The Arctic is us. The United States has even talked about how it's very important. It's why we want Greenland so bad, so we can get up there and be closer to the Arctic. That's important. Russia is also talking about the fact that they're the only country in the world that has nuclear-powered icebreakers, meaning we can do this all day, every day, 24/7, 365. Nobody else in this world can do that. Now, we got that with aircraft carriers and nuclear submarines and we got a whole bunch of stuff that's nuclear-powered that can do it all day long, every day. I mean, minus the fact that they eventually run out of food or having to start eating pellets or something. I don't know, pellets and pour water on them, whatever, at some point. But Putin's just, he's talking. He's like, look, we can go long term if we need to. IBM and NASA, they created a first-of-its-kind AI system that can actually predict solar flares. Pretty close, sounds like. Anyways, it predicted a couple within a couple hours of them actually happening, which I would say is pretty damn good. At first, it was like 16% more effective. And then I'm like, that's still pretty good. So anyway, it's been training this AI on there's every 6 seconds or something like that, there's a picture that is taken of the sun from these different satellites or whatever. So it's using these images to piece together the sun and the things that you can tell when it's about to do something. And apparently AI is getting rather good at identifying patterns within that. Putin initially was tasked, the opportunity presented itself to use a hypersonic missile to strike Zelensky's office. One of their new missiles that they really want to show off how incredible they are, the Oreshnik missile they keep talking about. It's a medium-range hypersonic. And essentially, it's like a small nuclear device without having to be nuclear. It doesn't leave there's no nuclear to it. It's because it's going so fast. And just the kinetic energy alone is incredible. So it's a pretty gnarly weapon. And they're just bragging about it a little. And they're like, nah, I told them, hey, don't blow up Zelensky's presidential palace or whatever it was. His office in Kiev, or Kyiv, they would say typically. Russia accused Ukraine Sunday of launching drone attacks that sparked a fire at a nuclear power plant in the western Kursk region overnight. Again, it's dangerous to attack nuclear power plants. I get you want to go after their resources too, especially considering Kiev has lost a lot of power. I mean, electrical power and political power and monetary power. Pretty much all power, human power. Trump says he will make very important decision on Russia-Ukraine negotiations within 2 weeks. He's given time for stuff to work out. The deep state press is definitely trying to spin this in bad ways. Things are complex. I think ultimately our side's got to try to do our best to communicate the fact that, these things aren't simple. There's moving parts. There's moving things happening. You don't just stop wars. And this wasn't our war to start. Trump is literally injecting himself into something that was created before him, outside of him, and is really supported outside of him. Like, we don't want to support it anymore. The American people don't care about this anymore. We want the people to stop dying. That's it. Ukraine, whatever you got to do. We don't want. Sorry, we've given you a lot. It didn't work out. At some point, we need to be able to go and walk away, and rather than continue to lose more people. It's not cool. Pentagon has blocked Ukraine from striking Russian territory. Again, Wall Street Journal, oddly, bringing this up and saying this is Donald Trump's. This is Donald Trump's thing that he started. Whatever the case was, he didn't start the war, and this actually started with Biden. Trump's been important to point that out. Wall Street Journal, notorious for being stupid and wrong and fake news. So again, once again, this whole process of not allowing Ukraine to attack into the heart of Russia was started by Biden. Now, would that have started World War III? Probably. Or it would have involved our direct assets if we allowed it. I think that's a lot of why it's happened. This is an interesting article. Again, it's Russian Times, so what they're trying to spin from it exactly, don't know. But yeah, they're trying to blame Trump so Wall Street Journal's trying to blame Trump for something that was never him. Now, why Trump didn't change it, again, I think it just goes back to the fact that if we use our weapons deeper inside of Russia, they know we're pushing the button to a degree, or at least giving the codes, or making it possible. So that's us doing it. It's not Ukraine doing it anymore. Systemic corruption doesn't give a chance for peace in Ukraine. They've come to find out that a whole lot of people were skimming money off the top, big time skimming money off the top. Some are saying up to 30% skimming money off some of the defense stuff. A bunch of people have been arrested there. Vladimir Zelensky's like, we are going to get to the bottom of this, or whatever stupid thing he would say. It's immoral and all this nonsense. Dude, he's got 2 yachts that have been purchased since this war has begun. By the way, 2 big-ass, multi-million-dollar yachts. Just saying. So I don't think he's a good guy in the big picture at all. Ukraine issues military warning to Belarus. Upcoming Zapad military drills will feature the Russian Oreshnik intermediate-range hypersonic missile. Ukraine's warning Minsk, you stay away from our border. You get too close to us, we're going to get angry. Okay, Ukraine, yeah, while you're getting your ass handed to you by Russia, go ahead and start a war with their biggest best friend that, by the way, has nuclear weapons as well. Not a good idea. What, are you trying to make this war worse for you? You want to give some of your land to Belarus now too because there's some Belarusian speaking people or something? I think they all speak Russian, by the way, but whatever. Yeah, not smart. Israel airstrikes hit Yemen's capital, targeting Iran-backed Houthis. Supposedly a cluster bomb was launched at Israel from the Houthis, damaged people, killed people. And so Israel struck back in Yemen's capital. Again, I think it's Damascus, right? Which I think is also listed in the Bible. There's some very Gog, Magog attempted type stuff happening right now. That's all I can say. They're definitely trying to make things worse, not better. But, we'll see. I mean, again, Trump's got his hand in this in some weird way, shape, or form. So I'm hoping that deep state targets are being taken out because there are definitely a lot of those in these places. So hopefully, my prayers definitely on these big time because, again, we're getting into dangerous waters, dangerous places. I want to remind you guys of Healthy Home. I'm going to do a short one on this, but again, danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Stem cells help you heal. This doesn't inject stem cells. It helps your body create more of them. Incredible product. It will make you feel better in every way, shape, or form. For me, I had shoulder issues, and that went better. Girlfriend had calcification of the shoulder, and I've had a number of other friends share with me their experiences with Stem Active. Stem Active is an amazing product that literally helps your body heal itself. As we get older, that healing doesn't happen as easily. Balance is a great one for ladies going through the change. This will help you with your moods. It'll help you with the temperature. It'll help you with your relationships. It'll help you with your husbands or wives. Well, maybe wives too, who knows. Balance is something that really helps. It doesn't synthetically put hormones in you. It actually causes your body to deal with this process better itself. Women are coming back to me with information on this one and telling me how incredibly well it's working. So this is another great product, a transdermal lotion. Put a little on your wrist. You rub your wrists together, right? 'Cause you got a lot of blood flow through there. That's it. you're in. You're in like Flynn, so they would say. Amaze Collagen Peptides, my girlfriend's favorite product. I'm actually back on it now. I'm addicted again. But this is peptides. One's the best way to get these things in your body. Two, it's collagen. It's the most important protein in your body. These things together makes an incredible product. You got sagging skin, sore muscles, joint discomfort, lifeless hair. You know, want to grow hair, nails too, by the way. This is your friend. One of the most important proteins in the body. You do not want to lose that. And as we age, it's another one of those things that starts to slowly reduce. Well, fight it off. It's a great product. It's delicious, by the way. Prime, another incredible product that gives more energy. It causes your blood vessels to expand, gets more energy through them, meaning more blood, more oxygen. You actually move more energy per pump, if you will, of your heart. It's incredible. It works very well. It's a delicious powder. Kicks in within minutes of ingesting it. And you don't necessarily know that it's kicked in per se, but you definitely notice you've got more energy than normal. You're just more pep to your step. And finally, Stem Active for pets. It's about half the price of what we pay for adults. It's a chewable tablet. Pets are the same thing. They need to heal too. So you got to give them an opportunity to do that. And they've got a Healthy Home. Heal Thy Home is a great company. So go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Hit that shop tab. You can join too. There's a few ways to do that. I do recommend actually joining as a member. It saves you a little monthly fee. You just have to buy a nice little package of stuff, and it can be as small as one thing of Stem Active to a few cool things bundled together, and you get free shipping for life and all sorts of cool stuff. And you'll even get your own link if you ever want to try to sell people. Like they're like, I like that. That product sounds awesome. You go to this website and buy some, and it'll be your website, and you'll be the one that gets a little commission back. It's kind of fun that way. So again, go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Make those healthy choices, healthy living, healthy life, healthy lifestyle, all those things. It's awesome. Coinbase tightens workforce security. Apparently, North Korean remote worker thing they've been doing is now being exploited by North Korean workers, or North Koreans anyways. So they're finding ways to hack into this Coinbase, the third largest cryptocurrency exchange that's out there. Explains probably where I get some of the emails I get. Microsoft failed to disclose key details about the use of China-based engineers in U.S. defense work. The record shows they actually weren't being honest about the fact that they'd made this change in their procedures, that they were going to be using people that were China-based as engineers for products that had to do with U.S. defense. Microsoft, that doesn't sound like a very nice thing. Was Bill Gates behind that too, or no? Chinese bridge collapsed, kills at least 12 construction workers. Very sad. I'm sorry this picture sucks. I had to go through archive because these people insisted that I log in or something stupid to be able to view this. NTD, come on. I already promote Alice Tang and my lovely Tiffany Meyer. Come on now. Come on. I'm going to buy the calendar when you guys put it out. Seriously. Jeez. Crazy. What's weird is this thing sitting up on top of a arch. Arches only work when you got the arch in place. When you just got half an arch and you got this super heavy weight on the outer part of that arch, that's not good. That's bad. And like many would be like, well, no, those supports there on that are holding it up. No, that's not how that works. The arch holds it up. It's the other way around. So I don't know if the rest of the arch fell. It looks like they used to have something, and certainly they lost some road. But yeah, we can't see parts of this. It seems to have ended up inside the water. So again, how did this happen? Don't know. China, are you really bad at it? This is embarrassment, hardcore for them. But, and they got a bunch of shit parked on it. That is just nuts. That doesn't seem smart at all. Whatever. I don't know what they seem to doing, but I'm wondering if we actually is energy weapon kind of thing, man. You could hit like a metallic structure like that, and you could start to frequency modulate. Oh my God, dude, it'd be very easy, very easy. Low energy too, low wattage. You could do insane damage. I'm wondering. Here are the new items TSA banned and checked bags. This has to do, I don't know, I'm just pulling this out just so you ladies and people, basically you ladies, because I don't know if you gentlemen are using this, okay, don't tell me. But they've got cordless curling irons apparently, and they got these little butane gas things or whatever. Yeah, so you can bring those cordless things, carry on. You cannot put them in your check-in luggage. They will literally remove them if they find them. You also cannot bring additional butane gas canisters. So maybe replace that before you go or whatever, or get a different kind of curling iron, get one that you can plug in, and then it won't matter, whatever the case is. That, I mean, it's literally the whole, it seems to be the big deal in that article. American Airlines flight makes emergency landing in Washington after customer device emits smoke. God, I hope they don't make it where we can't take batteries or chargers or anything with us. Like, you can't take your cell phone. It could possibly catch fire. Like, oh, we're so close to crazy land. But anyway, this something started smoking. Flight attendants dealt with it. It was fine. They landed another place and, yeah, had to schedule a new flight and everything else. NASA and SpaceX launched 33rd commercial resupply mission to the ISS. Nice number there. So the 33rd mission, and, yeah, just resupplying supposedly this International Space Station. Fantabulous. DeSantis ordering the removal of the gay pride crosswalk from Florida streets. I guess these probably exist in a number of loose liberal towns. Well, they're going away. They're going away. Florida, good job. Good job for getting rid of that nasty nonsense. Elon Musk reached a settlement with thousands of former employees in a severance dispute. 2 of the 3 lawsuits have been settled. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. It's kind of stupid. I highlighted a bunch of crap. It's not worth all that time. But there is one of the lawsuits that's still going. It had more to do with the Twitter executives. So that one's still kind of continuing forward. I'm sure it'll be settled at some point, but nah. Oh, the Rhode Island prosecutor, by the way, who told cops, we shared this video. I thought this was hilarious. I actually watched the longer video, which I found to be just fascinating. Her and her friend both got arrested. It was just so awesome. And you could actually see her underwear when they put her in the police car, which I found to be an added bonus. You know, it's kind of like when they have nudity in a movie. I feel like that's just sweet. Thanks. Thank you, Jesus. Rhode Island prosecutor who told cops they regret arresting her in a viral video while she's been placed on unpaid leave, starting Monday, apparently. Or I guess Friday it started. I don't know. Technically, Monday she's no longer getting paid, I guess, so maybe it's when it starts. She's no longer getting paid. We don't know for how long either. And she's not getting paid anymore. Oh, well, it's a bummer for her. Finally, Secretary Duffy announces NASA's Artemis 3 mission is going to return Americans to the moon, this time to establish, I guess, a permanent base. We're going to do it before everyone else. We've heard this before, but I think we're a lot further along technology-wise than we were when we supposedly did it last time, right? Anyway, here we go.
We've sent 1 mission to the moon and back unmanned. The second mission, Artemis 2, goes manned to the moon at the start of next year. And then about a year and a half after that, we are going to send Artemis 3, which we're going to land manned back on the moon. And this time, we're going to stay. We're going to stay for 6 days to start, but we're going to start building a base and a presence. But then from there, we get to go to the moon. And so this is an exciting time. And again, this is really important. And we can't lose. It's one we have to win. The president is all in. I'm all in. And we're garnering the support at NASA and directing it to this moon mission, as opposed to some of the other missions they've had at the agency.
Yeah, missions where we try to find someone that's diverse or exclusionary up in space. And so far we haven't found any, but we've sent many people up there. Katy Perry was one of our favorites. That was a totally different company, by the way. Well, whatever. So many things happening, folks. So many things happening. This is going to be a fun week, as always. And so, yeah, be prepared. Be mindful. But be prepared. And always be looking out for people that you can help a little, even if it's just a tinge. You know, when they see that small little hint that you could be somebody they could ask these questions to safely without, feeling ridicule, you're going to be the person they're going to ask. So don't go to the crazy first. Go to the common ground first and work your way into their boundaries. And you'll be amazed at the change you can make. Thank you guys for all the help you're doing. I love you guys. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.